Hi, I'm Pat from the Fallen Oak, and today I'm going to turn a dry floral vase from this oak chunk taken from the firewood stack. The first task at hand is to get this piece in a rough round shape by turning it between centers. I'm not going to be looking to turn this down to final size yet, so I'm not looking for perfect smooth either at the start. After spending some time getting it to a decently round shape, I cut in tenons on both sides of the blank to be able to mount it into my jaws. Now that it is mounted, I can go ahead and make some quick reference marks on the blank here. I did not have a final size in mind when I'm doing this, but I do keep the proportions split into thirds as best as I can, with the bottom bulb being about 1/3 of the total height, leaving the neck with the remaining 2/3 overall. After making a few quick cuts and some simple shaping later, I'll go ahead and part off the plug from the bottom in order to be glued back on later. In order to maintain the current grain orientation, I'll make some alignment marks to use while gluing this back together again. After drilling a starter hole, I'll dial in a good fit for that plug before hollowing out the bottom of this vase. While this step can be skipped overall, I do prefer the weight reduction the hollowing does provide. This lends to a better relationship of visual lightness in the physical feel overall, which I feel is a better experience. The hollowing takes a little while as this is ingrained oak, but once it is complete, it's time to glue on that bottom plug, and utilizing the tailstock as a clamp, I'll leave this on overnight. After setting overnight, I did a quick cleanup of the tenon in the bottom plug and then reversed this piece in the chuck for the very last time. After choosing a decent sized drill bit, it was time to drill a hole straight through the rest of this piece, finally bottoming out into that hollowed out area. Next up is a repeat process of the first step with reducing the overall size of the neck for the vase. This is where you can easily get creative and modify either the thickness of the vase or you can even carve designs into it as well. For this one, I wanted to bring it down somewhere between about 1/8 to 1/4 inch wall thickness, stopping where it looked visually balanced and not sticking really to a specific number. During the shaping process is where the bottom bulb really comes into its own as well. Due to the hollowed section being enclosed, it is hard to confirm what that wall thickness is visually, so I have to carefully shape this by feel really for the most part. Now that everything is shaped up, I spend some time refining the bottom as best as possible while it's still in the chuck. The most amount of this time spent is working on the transition of that bottom plug we glued on earlier. Once it's set up there, it is time to start the sanding process where I did start with a lower grit specifically to help with the bottom transition and the end grain that was there. And then eventually I did work my way up through 220 by the end of it. Finishing this vase is definitely a simple process. After a few coats of a Danish oil blend applied, did a little hand buffing afterward, and we called it done. And here we go. The vase is finished and ready to display some dried floral pieces. Overall, I am happy with how this one turned out and pleased with the overall proportions. The bottom plug isn't really noticeable in a normal view and angle, which I think lends to a great visual appeal overall. Let me know what you think of this one, and if you have any ideas on changes you would like to see for a different one, please leave those comments down below. If you've enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day.